So, Sunday's complete kit is finally out, and I have a few things to say about it. He is looking to be another power creep type harmony unit, but players won't be able to experience his glory completely on his release. Given the units we have right now, it would take a few more patches and some new units to come out for us to fully utilize him. In this video, I'll go through his complete kit and give my initial thoughts on it, with some insight on his teams and places he'll be good in. So leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and let's get started. Playing a game with awesome units coming out every patch is not easy. You always run out of currency to pull everyone, but that's where lootbar.gg comes in. It's the most popular top-up platform for games like Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, and Zenless Zone Zero. It has a ton of positive reviews and some big content creators using it as well. Not only that, you get incredible discounts for every item compared to the in-game prices, and it only needs your UID for the whole process. Just pick your item, paste your UID, select your region, and top up now. And there you have it. Within seconds, you get your J's. It's fast, it's easy, and it's totally secure. So go check out lootbar.gg from the link in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Now, as we all know, Sunday is going to be an imaginary unit following the path of harmony. And given our history of overpowered limited harmony units, Sunday is certainly going to be broken as hell. And looking at his kit, he's going to be introducing a new type of playstyle. For his base stats, as a harmony unit, you don't have to pay attention to any of these, aside from his speed being 96 and his energy cost of 130. Pretty usual for harmony units. For his traces, his basic attack is just a single target hit of imaginary damage. Nothing special. His skill is where things start to get interesting. He first causes an ally and there's someone to take turn immediately, and increases the damage dealt by 40%. And if the target has a summon, then this damage is increased by an additional 40%, lasting for 2 turns. Now here you can finally understand what this new playstyle is. It's a summon playstyle. Units like Topaz with Numbi, Lingsha with Fu Yuan, and yeah, Mr. Jing Yuan with his Lightning Lord. Man, he's finally getting some love. I'll explain his interactions with Sunday in the later parts of this video. Now if this skill is used on another harmony unit, the immediate action effect won't trigger. For his talent, it's literally a one-liner. When he uses his skill on a single target, the target's crit rate is increased by 20%, lasting for 2 turns. And given the already present damage boost from his skill, players will be able to reach some incredible crit ratios with Sunday. For his ultimate, it's another single target ability. He regenerates 20% of the target's max energy, and then gives them and their summon a unique buff. This buff lasts for 3 turns, and gives crit damage based on Sunday's own crit damage. This effect can only be present on a single target at a time, meaning even if you manage to use his ultimate on another unit before the previous ultimate expires, that is before 3 turns, the effect will only be active on the most recent unit that it has been used on. For his technique, it's again a simple one-line. After using his technique, increases all ally targets damage by 50%, lasting for 2 turns. Now for his passives, the first one allows him to not consume any skill points when using a skill, and this effect can be triggered after 2 turns. This thing can literally make him a super SP friendly unit, and I'll discuss how later. His second passive grants him 25 energy at the start of the battle, which can allow him to activate his ultimate at the very start. Finally, his third passive just dispels a debuff from the target when using a skill. This is literally Bronya's skill. For his stat bonuses, he gets 37.3% crit damage, 18% effect res, and 12.5% defense. Now don't pay too much attention on the numbers, as this is still the first beta, so things are expected to change quite a lot down the line, and I'll try to update you when he gets any major changes in his kit. Now let's take a quick look on his Eidolons. Once again, Eidolons are the ones most likely to see changes, so keep that in mind. Sunday's E1 just gives 20% rest penetration to the target ally when using a skill, and this lasts for a single turn, which again signifies him using a skill every turn. His E2 just increases his and the target ally's speed by 20 flat amount when his ultimate is active. Given this is a flat speed increase instead of a percentage, this can be insanely good. His E4 gives him 8 energy at the start of his turn. Man, I wish this was in his talent instead of his E4. Even if this was just 4 energy, I would have been happy with any kind of energy based passive in his kit, because he certainly needs it. And lastly, his E6 is another huge stat increase. Now the talent's crit rate boost is stackable up to 3 times. So we are looking at a 60% crit rate boost at max 3 stacks, which is insane. And if the target's crit rate exceeds 100%, then for every 1% extra crit rate, the target will gain 2% extra crit damage. As I said, insane stat increase. In terms of value, I never really recommend Eidolons for supports, because personally, I think they are already broken at E0. And for Sunday, I would recommend his Light Cone over any of his Eidolons, as that is a much more worthwhile investment, as I'll explain in a bit. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, please consider subscribing, as it does help this channel grow and motivates me to make more content for you guys. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about his kit. The first thing I'll discuss is execution, and by that, I mean his overall gameplay mechanics. Now, given how his kit works, the most notable rotation you'll go for is gonna be just spamming skills. And since every 2 turns he doesn't consume any skill points for his skill, he can be pretty SP friendly. He is still not SP positive yet. For that, you'll need his signature light cone. But before that, his ultimate lasts for 3 turns. And given his passive providing some extra energy, you will easily get his ultimate on the first turn. So great for all you zero cyclers. But the issue starts after the first ultimate. Like here you can see, even with the 130 energy cost ultimate, and we have certainly seen other Harmony units with higher energy requirements. But those units have some kind of energy gaining mechanics in their kit. But Sunday doesn't have that. So even with an ERR rope, he kinda struggles to get a 3-turn ultimate. Sure, his signature light cone definitely helps with that. It's a freaking energy hub. Giving 6 energy for every use of any of his abilities is insane. It's like a meshing cogs on steroids. And with that, it gives massive damage boost to the target. Not only that, it also regenerates skill points for every 2 uses of his skill or ultimate, which pairs super well with his first passive that reduces skill point usage, making him super SP friendly. But setting that aside, I want to discuss some alternate light cone options for him. Through my analysis, the best thing to do for players who are not planning to go for his signature is to just save enough currency and buy the Bronya light cone, if you don't have it already. This trade-off gives 10% ERR, and the rest of the passive perfectly synergizes with Sunday, and is the only non-limited option that comes close to providing a consistent 3-turn ultimate rotation. I did thought about meshing cogs, but well, since he won't have any personal attacks, the only way the light cone work will be through getting hit, and that is not reliable at all. Other than that, every other 4-star light cone just does not synergize with his kit. If you have some limited 5 stars, then Robin's light cone can work somewhat. But well, the Sunday definitely has a bit of energy issue for a non-zero cycle rotation. You know, I would really love to get some good energy based 4-star event light cones or a Herta store light cone that players have access to, like we have for Nihility units, being the Herta store solitary healing and the tutorial mission starts. Now that we've discussed his kit, let's now talk about his potential synergies and teams. Well, given the fresh new aspect of his kit, there aren't many units that synergize with him yet, but we can still talk about the units we have. For a single target Harmony support, otherwise known as a hyper carry support, they usually work with a single main damage dealer team. And for that, among our current units with summons, we can exclude Lingsha. Well, first because she's a healer and she's break focused. So most of Sunday's buffs, aside from the action advance, just doesn't work on Lingsha. Aside from her, we have Topaz and Jing Yuan. Now for Topaz, yeah sure, Sunday will work wonders for her. Not only Topaz and Nambi are already one of the most frequent attackers, but with Sunday on the team, and with his 100% action advance, will bring Topaz's game to another level. Not to mention, she is known to be one of the hardest units to get a good crit ratio on, and given Sunday's crit buffs, that will solve every build issue one can have with Topaz. But still, Topaz is a sub DPS. You can use it as a main DPS, but even with Sunday, her best team is still going to be a dedicated follow-up attack team with Fei Xiao, where she works as a sub DPS. But Jing Yuan on the other hand, have a different story. One of the things that makes him different is the fact that his Lightning Lord packs majority of his damage output, and until now, we didn't have any supports that specifically buffs the Lightning Lord itself. Like any normal damage increase buff or any debuff on the target will certainly benefit the Lightning Lord, but something like Action Advance doesn't work. But now we have a support that can affect the summon, so definitely is a huge buff for Jing Yuan. For a quick overview of how the team will work with him, is most definitely going to be Jing Yuan, Sunday, Ting Yun, and any sustain of your choice. Now here, I still value Ting Yun with Jing Yuan because she helps Jing Yuan get more stacks. Even if Sunday gives 100% action advance to the Lightning Lord, it won't matter if there aren't enough stacks. There's also one of his passive that gives him extra crit damage if he has more than 6 stacks. So on a consistent basis, you need at least 7 stacks before the Lightning Lord takes action, and for that, Ting Yun is necessary. Her giving energy combined with Sunday's 20% is gonna make it so that Jing Yuan will be able to get his ultimate very often, around 2 to 3 turns, resulting in much higher and consistent damage output. And also one other factor, one of the things that players hate about Jing Yuan is the fact that if he is crowd control, the Lightning Lord does not take turn. So here, Sunday's extra cleanse comes in real handy. All in all, it's a huge buff for Jing Yuan. It feels so weird that a 1.0 unit is finally getting a proper support after more than a year. It's a good news for players who pull for Jing Yuan and then benched him right after units like Blade and Imbibe de Lune got released. But this doesn't change his pull value. I still wouldn't recommend any new player to pull for a Jing Yuan if he gets a rerun in the next patch. As a damage dealer, he is still super below average, especially for today's standards. If you don't have him, just sit tight with your Sunday, who will soon announce a bunch of damage dealers to work with him. As I said, it's the emergence of the summon meta. Overall, Sunday is a pure hyper carry support, where I hate to say this, but with both Sunday and Sparkle present in the game, Bronya has definitely been power crept. In terms of pull value, I definitely recommend pulling for Sunday, from just the fact that he's a limited Harmony unit. And as I already said in the beginning, every single harmony unit in HSR is broken. And Sunday literally introduced a whole new playstyle. In the near future, after we get through all the changes in his kit, I'll once again release another best harmony video, comparing all the premier harmony units. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. Sunday is definitely looking to be another banger harmony unit. There are some issues, but there are also a ton of changes expected in the coming future. Like and sub if you found this video helpful, leave any questions you may have, and I'll try my best to answer them. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.